Alyssa Rose, recently back from Void Club in Berlin and Sun and Bass in Sardinia, she has also performed alongside some legendary artists such as London Electricity, Ed Solo, Matrix and Futurebound, Siren, Prolix, Fava MC, The Upbeats, The Crystal Method, Renee LaVice, Airglow, and more. She enjoys her drum and bass with rolling bass lines, live instruments, popular samples, and jazzy funk. She knows how to keep the dance floor moving, and uh, I could attest to that because I was at her party in Toronto. So definitely check mark there. Gimme a Try was featured on Deg's Outlaw Mix and received some love at Sun and Bass and Locust Tulum. Never Gonna Stop received some amazing feedback from London Electricity. Check out the latest dub, XOTIC or XOTIC, and Alyssa Rose. The track is called Smokin', Gypsy Woman. Representing for Siren Project NYC, Ladies of Drum and Bass, and Off the Air. When Alyssa's not DJing, she enjoys driving off road trails, backcountry camping, traveling, and selling real estate. Alyssa Rose, welcome to Influences Podcast.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, great for you to join us today. So I'm going to just start off with how did you get into DJing and producing? Take us through that journey.
Yeah, I want to say I started 6.5 years ago or so. I would go, well, I actually started out hosting events. So started out as a promoter. I promoted for a company out of Austin. I did a lot of work for music festivals, Ultra, Tomorrow World, some of the Texas music festivals. And so I started out like that. And then I started throwing my own parties here in San Antonio. And sometimes you'd ask DJs to play and you would listen to your style of music and you're kind of wanting those DJs to play what you want to hear, but everyone has their own style. And so I wasn't quite hearing what I wanted. And so it was kind of like, pass me the aux cord, check this song out, check this song out. And then it became like, okay, well, now I need to figure out how to get from one song to the next without disrupting the flow, keeping the energy up, no train wreck. So I started on a controller. Controller isn't necessarily what you're going to play out in a real show. You got CDJs. My next thing is I went to turntables, and those just obviously weren't what I needed. So I purchased a set of CDJs and just taught myself how to DJ. And so, yeah, that's where it came about. I just wasn't hearing what I wanted to, and I wanted some like feminine energy. It's male dominated for the most part. So
Yeah, no, that's interesting because I've asked a lot of female DJs about that. But what about the producing part?
yeah, so the producing part I think just is like a natural, it's like part of the evolution, right? Like for most times DJs, they want to make their own songs. Like I think that DJing is a form of producing because you are blending and creating songs. You could put songs on top, create a story. But I think I know that if you want to be on some of these major festivals, and obviously one of the goals is to be signed to a record label, you're going to have to start producing at some point. So my friends and I have gotten together. I'm still learning how to produce, like actually use the software to do it, but we get together and we have the ideas and everybody sits there the entire time, agrees on it, says take it out, put this in, and we've came out with some pretty, I think, pretty good stuff. So
Absolutely. So if you had to choose one,
mhm.
which do you like better, the DJing or the producing? I know you already said that to be a DJ, you have to be a producer, but I'm just wondering if push came to shove, you had to pick one, DJing or producing, and why.
DJing because you can dance, you can just be out there on stage and everyone's just like enjoying and you can see the smiles and you're the captain, like
Uh,
you take control. And so it's just really fun to be able to create that energy and happiness and also get a really good workout.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like it too, especially, being older and stuff and hard to get out and do the kind of exercise I used to like to do. But oh, you already said this,
Mhm.
whereabouts in Texas you were.
San
San
Antonio.
Antonio,
Yep.
Texas. What
Yeah.
kind of an electronic music scene is there? Like I know guys like Mark Farina live there and you live there, so I'm just wondering what kind of a scene you have there in Texas, San
Yeah.
Antonio, and other places maybe you can mention too.
Sure. So, yeah, Texas, big scene. Mark is in Dallas. I'm in San Antonio. That's Texas is pretty big. Like I'm sure you've heard if Texas could be its own country, then we would secede from the United States. But, Austin, another big city. But from San Antonio to Dallas, 5 hours. San Antonio to El Paso, 8 hours. To get to Houston, 3 hours. So it's a but these are all, Dallas is doing some really good things. Austin's a major hub, obviously, live music capital of the world. Houston gets some really big shows, and San Antonio, we get some good shows here and there, but it's just a smaller scene, so a lot of local shows going on. But there's a lot of great artists here as
Do
well
you
doing some things.
like other than coming up to Canada, do you venture out to the other cities in Texas usually or to do your gigs?
Yes. I mainly played like Dallas, Austin a lot. I'm trying to get back to Houston. I think that's going to be in the works in the next couple of months. As far as United States, I've played in Philadelphia and I've played in New York City.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I feel like I've been out of country more than in
In
country.
country.
Yeah,
Well, we loved having you here in Toronto, that's for sure.
it was a
Uh,
blast.
yeah, absolutely. So, why spin or produce drum and bass and not house or techno? What is it about drum and bass that draws you to that
Okay.
genre, right?
Yeah. Um, so I mean, I started listening to electronic music with trance music,
Okay.
before, yeah, maybe like 13, 14 years ago. I feel like I'm still pretty new to drum and bass. I mean, considering the history. But something about drum and bass, like I think it has a lot to do with the BPM. I love hip hop, rap music, and for the most part, it kind of sticks around that same BPM. It obviously has a lot of influences in drum and bass. I love, of course, jazz. I mean, it just goes so well together. And to me, it's not, even though it is repetitive, it's not super repetitive like techno. Like, I still like techno, but
I like how you're careful.
well, I have a lot of friends that are just like obviously really into techno, and it's good, it's fun, but drum and bass, you got vocals, like you got rap, you got girls singing, you got, I don't know.
I like the interaction when it comes to drum and bass, when it
Hmm.
comes to the MC. So I hear you there. Like the live MC was a nice touch
Hmm.
at that party in Toronto. So yeah, I hear what you're saying there because sometimes you don't get that kind of live interactive kind of back and forth when it comes to some of the other genres, techno
Hmm.
being one of them, right?
Yeah.
So I totally hear you on that one. Okay, cool. You've played alongside some really cool artists. Like I mentioned a few of them in the bio,
Hmm.
but one that pops up is the Crystal Method. I'm a big fan of the Crystal Method, actually, have been
Hmm.
for 30 years or so. How did you get on the bill with them? And what was that gig like?
Yeah, that's actually really, I mean, it's a good question because I had been DJing maybe for a year or so. I really think that establishing all the connections when it came to promoting, going out and supporting other people's shows, like when I started to DJ, people were like, "Oh, wow, cool." And so a lot of people were really supportive and reciprocated that. So, I had a friend who was throwing the show. He was promoting with the guy who was, throwing the show, and they said, "Let's get Alyssa on the bill." And I had a lot of friends come out, and it was just so fun. So, and this is when I was still trying to learn the equipment. So I brought my own turntables out to that show just so I felt really comfortable playing. And I added a friend who played the guitar, with me. So it was just something like a little bit different. But it was my first big show. Like, honestly, I can't believe I was on that show. So,
Did you meet any of the guys, or did you
yeah,
get
I
to
met one
talk
of
to them?
them. Yeah, it was one of them. I can't remember, the
Which
name of
guy? Uh,
it was, yeah, just one of them.
yeah.
uh for Crystal Method, and I had a friend who owned a record shop, and he was like, please get this signed for me, and so I did. And everyone's just so sweet. Like, I haven't met any bad, not bad, but like not pleasant interactions with electronic music producers, except for one.
I won't ask who that is.
Yeah, I don't really want to say, but they were a little bit rude to my friend.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, yeah. I saw you play Dames on Decks in Toronto. Uh,
Mhm.
how'd you get involved with that gig?
Yeah, so Monica was the one that, threw the show together. She did an awesome job. I think it was her first round of Dames on Decks, and I felt really like honored to be the featured artist, for her first show. She saw me play in Tulum for Locust. I was asked by Rit to play the warm-up party, so I got to play the night before the festival started. It was like, wow, I did so good. And the crowd loved it so much that,
Nice.
like, these are the things that give you life. And just, and half the time I can't believe like these things I get to experience. And so I'm just so thankful. But I brought just really good music. I had all these girls dancing, like it was a thing. And so she saw me, she took video, saw me DJ there. And then I saw her again in Tulum, and so I'm waiting for her to go to Sun and Base, but yeah, she I guess she just liked my style and chose me. So, and
That's
she was
so
an
cool.
amazing host. Yeah, everything was perfect.
Yeah, I know. I like the venue of that party. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been living in Toronto all my life, never been there.
Yeah.
So totally thought it was cool. And I was talking to Mel from Mo Money's No Problems, and
Mhm.
she talked a little bit about you, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to meet her. So I'm glad I did. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to know as well, what is it that's so special about playing in an all-female lineup?
Okay, this is a good question that gets asked a lot, and I have varying opinions on all female lineups. I like all female lineups because it promotes, like these badass women who can get together and just throw down, and be in control the whole night. I also have varying opinions on all female lineup because I don't want to be chosen just because I'm a female, right? Because some of
Yeah,
these, I don't think it should matter on gender. Some people can throw down no matter what they claim. So yeah, but all female lineups, it's just nice to be around other girls that are supportive, they're having a good time, are talented.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. I have two daughters, so it's kind of a question I'm like asking all the female DJs that come on the podcast. So
Hmm.
yeah, I know that's a great answer. Here's something that I'd be interested in knowing what your advice is on. If you were to offer advice to up and coming DJs on
Uh-huh.
how to get paying gigs, what would you say to them?
Okay. Um, Paying gigs, yeah. So at first, you're gonna start off and you may get drink tickets. You may just get exposure. I think the show's gonna depend on what artists are playing, what kind of opportunities are gonna present itself. So in my opinion and experience, less is more. A lot of the local DJs, they'll maybe reach out, or people will reach out to them, hey, can you play this? Can you play this? So they're busy like every weekend. Or to me, that's really busy. Okay. I like to be busy maybe every once a month or so. Like, I gotta calm down and, recuperate, and I don't know, but yeah, less is more. And then, once you start getting that experience and things on your resume, then you can choose. You can say, you can, well, what time am I going to play? How much is it getting, how much am I getting paid, et cetera, et cetera. Ask these questions because you don't want to get into something that's not worth your time or maybe waters down your experience.
Yeah, that's good advice. The reason I asked that question is because I know a lot of more experienced DJs
Hmm.
would say that, and I'm not saying you're not experienced. I'm just saying sometimes when I ask that question, people have varying degrees of answers.
Hmm.
And one of the answers I got once was everyone should be paid to do a gig, right?
Yes, yes.
And I've actually DJ'd too, and I find that like one of the hardest things because everyone loves a free DJ or the drink ticket DJ. So I mean that's why the question, right? So
Yeah. I think that it's something that DJs need to keep in mind because as we lower, like we all kind of need to set the standard and realize if we take this gig at a freebie, then that's just what people are going to expect. And honestly, it's really hard being in San Antonio, expecting really good pay. The bigger cities pay better, and it's just something that's standard.
yeah,
Yeah, so I get treated a lot, better when I go out of town just because their standards are higher. But um, also, I mean, it depends. Like, what if you get asked to be on a lineup with a DJ that you just look up to and you're opening for them? Like, do you turn down,
yeah,
money,
good,
to
good rhetorical question there. I mean
it
that's a heck
happen?
that's a heck no, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm reading this book right now. It's called The Secret DJ. I don't know if you've
Okay.
heard of it.
No.
And I'm at this section now in the book where, and it's by an anonymous author. He's a well-known DJ.
Uh-huh.
I think the person is a he, and he talks about the fact that a lot of DJs in the industry are selling themselves short and playing these gigs for free or for less pay, and that help and that I can't remember the exact wording of the quote, but it was something to the effect of that will hurt your idols because
Hmm.
then they don't get paid as much knowing that there's somebody out there that will do that. And it really troubled me. So that's why I wanted to ask that question. And
Hmm.
I absolutely endorse that book, The Secret DJ, it's called. It's an
Okay.
anonymous author
Yeah.
and just doing DJing for over 20 years. I can totally sympathize with that.
Hmm.
But the other thing that I thought was interesting about that was that he's an anonymous author
Yeah. I mean,
and he won't put his name out there,
yeah.
right? So you got to wonder why that is as well. Okay,
Makes
let's
sense.
yeah, let's keep going here. This is about you. Okay. So I know you already talked a little bit about this before, but
Hmm.
who are your influences in the electronic music scene?
Sure.
Or who are your musical influences in general? Because I've had guys and gals come on here saying stuff like Stevie Wonder was my
Hmm.
inspiration, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
so maybe you have both.
this was actually probably one of the harder questions to answer. When I first started listening to drum and bass, Dave Owen, Lensman, they have a really good liquid style. They'll involve some hip hop in there. Lensman, Looking at the Stars was probably, one of my favorite albums. I also liked Sub Focus. He had think it was like Taurus album or it was like 12, 13, 14 years ago. I don't even know, time is flying. But yeah, Dave Owen track, like to be able to just hang out with track and him be like a regular person, friend, but he's also like somebody I really look up to is just crazy. But yeah, those would be the musical influences. Kino is a sweetheart. He is so talented. I saw him play live at Sun and Bass. He had his keyboard out, and to me, that's just like, wow. Yeah, Kino has some really beautiful music.
Yeah, you mentioned Sun and Bass quite a bit,
I
and
love Sun and Bass.
I I am not aware of this festival. I'm gonna tell you the God's honest truth. So I'm dying to know what that's all about. Like, where
Okay.
is it? Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, this will be my third year going. I didn't know anything about it either, which is kind of crazy because I mean, if you think that you're into drum and bass, you'd like liquid drum and bass, just like more the more chill side, right, of drum and
Right.
bass. How do you not know about this? Well, it's a festival that's going on 21 years. Um, this coming up on, yeah, will be 21 years. It's in Sardinia. It's San Teodoro, Italy. It's a little island just south of the mainland. It's a smaller festival, so every year it sells out. You get tickets. Probably if you have a friend that's been there, they get the pre-sale access and but they have, I think it's 6 days. It's a second weekend in September, and it's three parties a day for 6 days straight. But what's good
Wow.
about that, yeah, but what's good about that is a lot of these festivals, they'll have a huge lineup, right? And then you have to be like, oh, do I go this one? Like you have to choose, and it's just like too much sometimes. But with Sun and Bass, a lot of these artists will play twice. So if you happen to miss them here, you get to hear them over there. Or they'll have offsets, like Brian G will play a reggae set on the beach. DJ Markey will play a house set at Bal Harbor where there's a pool. And it's just nice because those places are family friendly. And then you can go to Ambra Night, and those parties stay on till like 5 in the morning. And it's just a beautiful city. It's a beautiful island, and the music, the people, it's not like other festivals. Like I've been to, and the genres differ. You go to a techno show, a lot of people are just like want to be in the front and pushing each other out of the way. And the girls are there just to like party, and they're not there for the music. Here, they're there for the music. It's family. Like I've met some people from all around the world, and so now I feel like it's just nice to get back together in the same place. So I would definitely check it out if you can.
Yeah, no, totally. That'll have to be added to my bucket list when I retire because I work second week of
Yeah, it's a
September in
journey.
my day job. So, but that sounds awesome for sure. Okay. So you talked about those influences. How did these influences shape you into what you do today?
Well, when I start to make music with my friends, I mean, these are all elements that you'll see in our music. I have a lot of songs with hip hop samples. Well, not a lot of songs, but I have songs with hip hop samples. Texas rap is a huge thing here. I grew up on that. There's like Swisher House out of Houston. I like to sample stuff from, Bun B. We have Gypsy Woman, which is from like the song Smokin' is based off Gypsy Women. So we have some Latin jazz. Give Me a Try is from Sizzla, from a reggae song, and yeah, reggae. These are all influences that you'll see, and which is why Lensman and Dave Owen and stuff really caught my eye and keep
Right.
my attention.
Yeah, could see that. So, final question. I love
Sure.
asking this question. How do you feel you are an influence on others when it comes to drum and bass music?
Well, one thing that I like to hear people tell me that they're living their dreams through me. So they see me, I get to go places, and my friends who aren't even DJs, they're just like, wow, I see you get to go to all these places and you're happy. You can legitimately tell that you're enjoying being up there. And so I know that when I'm on stage and smiling and dancing, it gets the crowd like it's more like personal, like you establish a connection with people that you've never seen before. And so maybe that's why, we felt like we knew each other just because if you like it, I like it. You're having a good time, I'm having a good time. That makes me happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
Alyssa, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. One more thing.
Yeah.
I would say like just don't give up. People that are doing this, you're gonna train wreck sometimes. Your USB is not gonna read properly when you load it in, and you're on stage and everyone's looking at you, but nobody knows that you're having technical issues. And so you may have one of the worst sets of your life. You may have people that tell you that you're not good enough to play, somewhere. And so those things are going to be the things that motivate you. And so when you actually get there, it just feels a whole lot better because you did it. And so I'm just always striving to get better, be better, and always just be a good person because in the end, I feel like relationships are first and then, business and music follow.
That's absolutely fantastic answer on that one there, Alyssa. And with that said, I'd like to thank you for being on Influences podcast. Folks, Alyssa Rose, check her out on all the socials and yeah, coming to a town near you.
Hopefully. Yeah, let them know. I'm
Yeah,
around. I love to travel, so check out
yeah,
my stuff. Yeah, so I have a website. All my social media handle is the same. The username, the website address. It's me, Alyssa Rose. Easy, right?
easy as pie.
Yeah. But
All
thank you
right.
so much.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much for being on the program. Cheers.
Bye.
You have been watching and listening to Influences Podcast. Influences Podcast is written, produced, and hosted by yours truly, Jason Harrischuk. Also produced by Angela Churchill, aka Purple Sapphire. My social media consultant is Christina Laukinen, also known as My Girl Tuesday. Check out Influences Podcast on Instagram at influences_podcast. That's influences_podcast. Thanks for watching and listening.